Okay, once again, thanks, warm welcome to all. I think this year what I'm going to do is I'm going to just highlight a few things, what we should be doing, what we should be looking for in 2013. In the last couple of years, we talk about trends. I've given up talking about trends now because it's no longer trends when you have bombing every day. I think this morning, most of you heard there's two bombs that just went off in at the Boston Marathon. Okay, what's happening? I think what we should be worried about is what will the H7N9 become a pandemic outbreak? Answer is yes and no. We also have people from the Middle East which has a SARS-like virus kind of outbreak. Again, that's something to be worried about. Okay, next issue we are talking about is in the professional, in our profession, we are now utterly confused about the whole thing about risk management. Where does business continuity management begin in risk management? How do we operate with each other and so on and so forth? This is something that we are beginning to see in the public sector, also in the private sector. Everybody is moving towards enterprise risk management, but where does BCP comes in? So we have actually gotten Patricia, who is going to give us a quick rundown on what's the difference between BCM, RM, ERM, and so on and so forth. As the chairman, Steve Sobek, has mentioned, what the Institute has done over the last couple of months is actually to revamp the entire program. So, in what he has just described, the NO, K and OW, is actually the basic requirement for any professionals who need to know about BCM. Alright, so we have actually reconfigured all our training programs to this requirement, which allows anyone who just want the knowledge to come. The do portion will focus on coordinators. Most of you have a BCM manager. When you go back, you have 15 to 25 coordinators. What do you do with them? Do not send them for advanced level courses, send them for somewhere like means I need to get this done and then submit to my HOD, head of department or business unit for approval. Manage will be at the highest level. For people who are at the managed level, our job is to train you to manage this program within our organization. And hence this competency level is now fully entrenched in BCM Institute, as mentioned by the chairman himself. So with that in mind, the ISO 22301 BCM course that most of you have attended in the past is now a full BCMS implemented course. And the lead auditor, the ISO lead auditor course has also been transformed to ISO requirement. We have actually just launched the crisis management, and the last one that we are changing eventually when Tranwin comes on will be to change the ID disaster recovery program similar to this requirement. What we have done since inception on 15 May when the standard was launched, we actually launched the first program in Singapore. On your extreme left-hand corner, what we did was to actually get all Singaporeans, a company who are SS 540, Singapore Standard 540, to migrate to ISO 22301. Then we went on to Malaysia, and then we went on to Philippines. Now we have not finished the last part of the tour, which is Thailand and probably Jakarta. But generally, what we've done is to actually get everybody in the market to be to know what's ISO 22301. We have beaten this to death as far as the economies is concerned. We are now moving on to the next level, which is actually to make sure that people are competent. And hence, this is just a quick you could barely see, but basically the no-do and the managed training program comes in. So we now have a full planner, implementer, and expert implementer being set up. Auditors are the same. We have an internal auditor and we have a lead auditor. These are two courses that are available. Okay, so what we are trying to do now is to get, from the Singapore context, we are trying to get people with existing programs, people with Singapore standards, and people who are also certified with British standard BS 25999 to migrate towards ISO 22301. Now next we go into crisis management. I like this photo because people in suit in water. This is exactly what's happening, and again over the last almost 3 to 4 years, I've been actually, I think some of you have heard me, it's like a broken down machine recorder where we say we need to talk about crisis management. Now, crisis management, to a lot of BCM professionals, we're already doing it. Come on, Dr. Goh, don't waste my time, right? Let me share with you, crisis management is not BCP, but you require them in the whole process. So crisis management is something that is coming up, in my opinion, all professionals should commence to embrace. Good and bad news again is that BCM managers are all assigned to do crisis management. That's something you can't get away from it because you're the next best person available who has nothing to do. Right? Okay, so what is a crisis? This is our crisis. For example, to Singapore for foreigners, our biggest crisis is the flood in Orchard Road. Okay, very important because cannot buy Gucci's and Elvis. So this is crisis, but general crisis goes from as Toyota engine dropping from the sky, oil in the bay, H7N9, because H7N9 does not deny access yet, but the problem is that some of you may be affected by supply chain. Okay, so in terms of crisis management, BCM is still, as what Mrs. Steve Sobek has mentioned, we have actually started, in fact, yesterday was the first course, we commenced to train people on crisis management. Remember, the whole curriculum is totally different, and the content is actually focusing on people. How do you manage, how do you set up your crisis management planning team, and how do you set up your management properly so that they can actually function properly in the event of crisis. The last part, which is the most important part that will make this happen, is for all of you who are here, and most importantly is to our list of our corporate sponsors. Okay, thanks to them, this could happen. All right, so with special mention to Whisper, Vision, RSA, Utility, Continue. Okay, and support by TAPA and Syrian Foundation. Okay, with that note, I thank you.